programs to progress, okay, and from year to year, okay. If you look at the school that I come from, which is the Electrical Electronic Engineering, from the first year, typically they spend about 2 hours to 4 hours a week, okay. And then for the EPAC students, actually they spend a little bit more, from 4 hours to 6 hours. Okay. And then from the second year onwards, the time they spend also varies. Okay. Typically on average it's about 4 hours a week. 4 hours, compact hours. That means that's the time when the lecturer go and meet up with them and try to settle their problems if they can. So that is actual compact hours. But on their own, we notice that they spend more time besides and beyond the 4 hours. So we expect the students to spend about, on average, about 6 hours. And for the model which I was trying to explain to you yesterday, because it is not, we try not to, we try to optimize the time spent by students on the projects. So what we do is that in the first term, one semester consists of 2 terms. In the first term, we try to focus on the imparting of the technical skills and knowledge. So the time on project is actually smaller. And then in the second term of the semester, the time spent is broadened from 2 hours to 4 hours. So the schedule allows us to broaden the time spent. So this to give students more time on the project in the second term. And in the final year, again it varies. On paper, students spend on average about 6 to 8 hours. But again, it varies from week to week. Usually at the beginning of the session, they spend lesser time because that's the time when they start brainstorming and finding out what kind of project they want to do. And the later part, when the presentation of the project is near, they spend 8 hours at least per week, to probably sometimes more than that. So their number of hours can vary to 10 hours or even 12 hours. So it varies. The more conscientious students will probably spend a bit more. Okay. So these 6 to 8 hours, I would say, are estimated hours, because final years we do not have a formal timetable to meet up with the students. It's any time when the students need to see the staff, they will just fix an appointment and meet the staff. So there's no fixed time. Okay, but we advocate to the staff that they should meet the students at least once a week, to make sure that the students are moving on with the projects, and also to prompt the students to ask questions. Okay, so that is the recommendation from the faculty. Okay, on the second question is, are there anything that students learn on their own? Okay, I'm not sure whether I give the impression that we teach them everything. Actually, we don't. We only teach them the very basic things, the fundamental, the core skills. Okay, be it communication skills or teamwork, or technical skills, the core technical skills. Okay, beyond which they have to internalize it and practice it on their own. And when we say internalize and practice, we try to do that in the project modules or project courses. Okay, so there's a lot of things which the students have to do on their own. Okay, I'm not sure whether this question is also directed beyond the technical and comm skills. If it is, then we have other areas which the students do on their own, which is the CCA, the co-curricular activities. If you go to Singapore Poly in the evening, at night, sometimes as late as 9, 8, 7, 8 o'clock at night, or even 9 o'clock at night, students staying back and do their co-curricular activities. So we encourage the students to take part in clubs. their own students' clubs. They form their own clubs, be it dancing. You know, it's very vibrant at night nowadays. If you go there at night, because I teach at night, I teach the working adults some courses. So sometimes when I finish my class at about 9 something at night, or even 10 o'clock, I still see them dancing and doing wushu. They're doing a lot of things. They organize everything on their own. So we just provide a venue for them to host the activity, a small budget for them to run the activities. Beyond that, everything is on their own. So that thing, those kind of activities, they learn on their own. We don't go and interfere. Okay, so we want them to learn of their leadership skills. Okay, I hope I answered this part. Okay, at any time, if there is any question, you can please stop me or clarify. Okay. Okay, what are the contributions for industries besides funding? I must have given you an impression that industry is providing a lot of funding. Well, to a large extent, it's true because they are coming in to provide scholarships, to provide prizes to our students. In fact, as I was looking at my email just now, I saw an email coming from our EDB, the Economic Development Board, a company called Coney Elevator. Does Coney Elevator operates in Singapore? Coney Elevator, the company called Coney. Okay, so they have written through EDB. They want to set up some courses in SP. So now we are working with them to see. They say that they are funding for it, you know. So they want to train people to serve the elevator industry. Because at Coney, they are in elevator and escalator. Okay. So beyond that, I would say the industry, we involve industry in many areas. Okay, and we keep a very close rapport with our alumni. Alumni meaning those people already graduated and working in industry, and we continue to tap their expertise and their knowledge to run our courses. And how they are involved is they are part of our advisory committee. Okay, every school has an advisory committee comprising of industrial people. Okay, so whenever we have new courses, we will present, just like in a forum like this, we will present to them our new courses, and they will comment whether the course that we are starting is relevant to industry and how best to tailor and structure the course. So we will seek inputs from them through the advisory committee. And every 5 years, we have a 5-year program review. And again, we invite them to give feedback on our courses. Okay. And besides that, whenever we have assessment, for one, the final year project, they are definitely involved. Okay. They will come and give grades. Okay. And not only that, in our second year, we send our students out to the industry for attachment. Again, they are involved because they help to train our students to meet the needs of the industry. So we work very closely with industries. Okay. What is the response to our CDIO implementation? I would say we invite them to see our implementation, and the response from them has been very positive. And as I said, they are involved quite closely in our running our courses because they are involved in assessment, they are involved in our advisory. Okay, so far whenever we present our ideas to them, they have been quite receptive. Okay, I would say so far there's no negative things. Okay. Any bad cases for final year projects? Well, obviously there are. Okay, we are not having a group of students who are angels. So there are always some who couldn't, meet the expectations. But these are small in numbers. When it comes to the final year, alright, they know our expectations. Okay, and at the very beginning, it's conveyed to them. But But usually there will be some who cannot make it, alright, and these are very small numbers, and it can be due to a number of reasons. It can be due to family problems, okay. Family problem can be somebody who has passed away or there's some problem, okay. So some of them come from family problem, and some could be due to them not able to manage their time properly. They could be very involved in their CCA, the co-curricular activities, until they've forgotten what is their main priority in SP. So therefore, you know, they misplace their priority, and whenever we found out this, we will try to coach them, counsel them, okay. And there are some who, because of financial reasons, they need to work part-time, and their involvement in part-time work outside is so heavy that they neglected their studies. Again, you know, a small percentage come from this. A smaller percentage come from them not able to work with their fellow teammates. Okay, so these are usually cases where you know, can happen. And if we cannot counsel them, we cannot filter them out early, and if they have to repeat the whole final year project, we will make them repeat. Okay. Every year there will be 1 or 2 cases. Okay. So are our facilities open 24/7? I would say we have started on this thing about 24/7, mainly in the robotic area. Okay, and by and large, we will open these facilities where is a demand. There's no point opening 24/7 when there's nobody coming in. So generally, it's always demand driven. Okay, and usually we will open up more of our laboratory facilities and workshop facilities when the exhibition is near. That's when the students work overtime, because it's just like studying. They don't study early part, then when the exam comes, that's the time when they work overtime. You know, they come back at night and work. So we will, for certain labs, we will try to open it at night to cater to the demand. So we will have a survey, how many people are coming back. If the demand is high, okay, we are prepared to open up a few labs for them to come back and work. So that's how we cope. Okay? Because whenever we open up a facility, and if the facility do not have camera to monitor the activities, and there's no card access, then we have to station technical staff there, and we have to pay technical staff. So because of the resources, we have to be mindful how many facilities we can open up. Okay. If a student failed in the early part of the project, what do we do? Okay. Okay. Most projects are assessed in course. Okay, and usually there are a number of assessments along the way. It's not that they go for exam, bang, finish. Okay. So there are a number of assessments along the way, and if students are found to be lagging in the early part of the project assessment, they will be counseled. Okay, and their performance are then continuously monitored closely. Alright, and if the reasons given by students are reasonable, okay, because maybe they need to go back to China, because we do have some foreign students. Alright, they need to go back to China, or some family member passed away, or they couldn't cope. So we are prepared, okay, on a case-to-case basis to give them second chance, and even conduct remedial lessons for them. Okay, so these are done with our personal tutor. If not, then we will get a peer tutor to assess, to help them out. And we normally give CCA points to our fellow students who give remedial lessons to their friends. Okay, so they encourage peer helping out. Okay, so CCA points. Students like the CCA points because they are required. They want to show this when they apply for further studies. How many CCA points they have accumulated, and also when we award awards when they graduate. Okay, whether we give the top award or the gold award or silver award, we will look at the CCA points. Those have contributed a lot beyond their studies, beyond doing well. Okay, we will want to recognize that their contribution. So CCA points comes about from that perspective. Okay, how long does it take to change from the conventional framework to the CDIO framework? Well, I would say it varies from institution to institutions, okay, and also from department to department. Okay, even within poly, we move at different speeds. Okay, so it depends on the commitment and the support from the various heads. Okay, the leaders of the institution and the leaders of the department and the faculty. Okay, so there's no one answer to this. Even in MIT started this CDIO, and until now, it was started by Evan Crowley, is a professor from the aeronautical engineering faculty in MIT. So it started there, but the other faculty did not follow. Okay, and they are very strong. And in MIT, probably like your, okay, the professors are the king. Alright, so they don't want to follow. There's nothing much the top management can do about it. Okay, so it's very difficult to move if you have a situation like that. It's very difficult. Okay, and the whole fraternity in the CDIO recognize that fact. We can only share and try to tell you the advantages by if you do it in this way. But if the institution as a whole do not want to follow, do not want to, use this framework, there's nothing much. Okay, it's not a compulsion. Okay, so it varies from institution to institution. My school, we started in 2008, and we are still moving along. Yes.
My question is exactly that. What is a milestone that you look forward to say that you already adopt CDIO, or you already achieved CDIO? What is a milestone? Okay, say Children University start today. What can you look forward to?
Okay, in 2004, then I was wondering, I talked to Professor Manan more about this and also talked to your dean. In 2004, we applied to be collaborators first. Okay, so as I said, a colleague of mine, she was looking for a model to address falling enrollment, falling student interest, and so forth. And she found this and she thought it was good. So we applied to be collaborators. But from 2004 to about 2005-06, she was just piloting, an individual piloting in her own program, her own course actually, not even program. Yeah. But once we scaled it up, once we felt that was good and put it to senior management, hey, let's look at this model and let's try out more programs. All right, and that took about end of 05, early 06, end of 06. Maybe from then on, it took us at least a year, 1 year, to understand the framework, to modify and to customize all the activities in the framework for our institution and our different programs. So we have 5 different schools involved: electrical, electronic, mechanical, chemical engineering, architecture and built environment, the civil engineering, as well as the IT school. So with this, actually started with 4 schools working together. It took us at least a year before we could start teaching, actual teaching in the classroom in level 1, year 1 teaching. So that took us a year to look at our syllabuses, look at our activities, and so forth before we started to implement 1 year later. And even with that, the second year changes was also taking place in parallel. Okay, and then the third year also taking place the year after. That's why I said we sort of phased it in. We didn't go right and say, let's change all 3 years at the same time. Or we say, let's do first year, and then while we're doing the first year, let's do the second year, and then let's do the third year. Yeah, so I find generally when I work with also the other universities, in fact in Vietnam, they also took about the same time, 1 to 2 years. In fact,